It can seem like the most important parts of your production kit are things like microphones and monitors, lights, microphones, and overpowered editing PCs, overpowered editing laptops, weird gadgets that get me stopped at airports, and, hold on, microphones. It's not worth anybody's time. No one's impressed. But there are a few indispensable smaller items that you want to have in your production kit, whether you're filming with high-end gear, a point-and-shoot vlogging camera, cell phone. These are the items that will help you with your creative workflow regardless of what you're doing. And it's usually right in that moment when you need it most that you realize that these small items can make all the difference in your creative workflow. So these are the top 5 things that I would not go anywhere without having in my kit. I'm also interested in getting your take on what items are indispensable as well. Be sure and share those in the comments below. I think the first thing on my list has got to be adapters. What about adapters? You want to have enough variety of these types of adapters for whatever you're shooting that you're able to adapt to and from accordingly. Sometimes you're just going directly with like a 1/4-20 to a 1/4-20. I cannot tell you how often I have needed that and not been able to find it. Also, having a means to attach your cell phone, one way or another, onto a 3/8 or 1/4-20 mount is fantastic. Sometimes you'll find the ones that clamp, that basically just attach like this. I think we're really familiar with those. I also got this bit play case, and it has a 1/4-20 mount right into the bottom of the cell phone case. And I know there are variations of this all over the market. So essentially, this case will let you just take that, mount it directly onto a tripod, and you're good to go. These mounting adapters are number 1 on my list. The next thing I love to have in my bag, no matter what, these guys, these little Velcro straps that in one way or another, you want to have a variety of these available. In my bag, they tend to get cut into all kinds of different sizes and shapes, but they're extremely inexpensive. You can get them at any hardware store or Home Depot or Lowe's, and you can just throw them in your bag, stick them to the Velcro inside of a camera bag pretty easily, and these guys really can be a lifesaver, and here's why. Not only does it keep all of your cabling clean and make it look a whole lot more professional and manageable, but you want to have it take the pressure off of the ports on your camera or your cell phone, because whether you're recording by yourself or with a group, or if you're on a soundstage, people accidentally kick cables, things get pulled, tugged, people pull on the wrong cable, whatever it is. You want to make sure that that tension when it pulls is pulling on the cable itself against your tripod or your mounting equipment instead of on your camera or your cell phone. If it pulls at the wrong time and in the wrong way on that socket on your piece of equipment, it could damage it permanently, and that's not a fun thing to have to repair. The third thing on my list, and the one that I get the most comments about when I bring them onto a set or a job, is these guys right here. They're actually flexible little rubber straps. They're very grippy, and they work extremely well to hold things in place. You know, the kind of filming I've had to do over the last few years has required me to be pretty versatile, show up and just make it work no matter what. And these guys always come to the rescue, because ultimately what you're able to do is take this and wrap it around anything you want, hold it to things, hold things together. You can offset something off of a piece of gear. There are a lot of things you can do with this versatile little piece of equipment. And these guys are really cheap. I think they're like 10 bucks for a nice set of these longer 12 or 16 inch ones. You can get them, again, any hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's, etc. You can order them on Amazon. Night Eyes is the brand. I think it's this guy right here. Yeah, so check it out. These can just be something that really pulls everything together for you. In a pinch, these are probably number 1, actually. I'm changing these back. These are gonna be number 1. Number 4 is gaffer's tape. Now, if you know what gaffer's tape is, most of us are pretty familiar with gaffer's tape. Some people think you need to get to a certain level of production in order for it to be really useful. But when it comes to labeling gear, holding things in place, taping down cords so it's safer in the environment you're filming in, you can get it in multiple colors. Black's one of the most common because it tends to blend in well with backgrounds and things of that nature if needed. You can also get it in colors like green and red. You can put it on the ground and you can actually mark where your talent needs to stand or where you need to stand if you're the talent, and make sure that you have everything lined up in your shot consistently every single time. There are a few things other than gaffer's tape that really handle that situation well. Yeah, you can put like a little, gift card on the floor or something like that, but these are things that move around when you're shooting. Inevitably, it happens. Gaffer's tape holds it in place, gets it done. So even though that sounds like a really obvious one, I'm willing to bet a lot of you don't have a roll of that in your bag. And if you do, in the moment that you need it, you're gonna use it. You wanna make sure that it does not leave a sticky residue on whatever you're sticking it on, that it does have a good adherence when you're taping it to surfaces, so it sticks to it. And then also, does it tear evenly? Can you get nice squares and pieces and nice even strips of it that you put on the ground with clean 90-degree tears? It makes life a lot easier. Highly recommend it. Last but not least is this guy right here. It's supposed to spin and be cool. Now, last but not least are these guys right here. When it comes to mounting gear, one of the number one things you want to be able to do is securely mount it and also be able to adjust it after everything's all hooked up on your monopod, your tripod head, whatever it is. These guys help adapt not only right off of the tripod itself to your camera or to your monitor or whatever's being hooked up, but also lets you mount on top of that other articulations that are going to help you get everything set exactly where you need it to be. This sounds a little overkill for what some of you might be doing right now, but quite honestly, as soon as you get one or two pieces of extra gear in your kit, there's a good chance you're going to need this, as well as this smaller version that is, I would recommend having 2 or 3 of these if you can. There are varying sizes of ball heads, varying qualities of ball heads, and also varying prices. Believe me, you can spend hundreds of dollars on a ball head, if not more, depending on how high you're going with the level of equipment. But ultimately, I got this guy for about 25 bucks on Amazon. 25 bucks for something that has this kind of quality to it, I'm pretty impressed with. Using the smaller ball heads instead of this and thinking it's good to get away with it, even on some smaller point and shoot cameras, I don't recommend it because you're gonna end up trying to tighten down that one screw so much to hold the ball head tightly that you might end up stripping it or actually fracturing the body of the ball head itself, and that's not gonna be good. So in a case like this guy, you've got a damper that is sort of always adding tension to the ball, so it's harder to move it, but you can move it. It holds the weight of your equipment. This guy on the side really locks it down so that it can't be moved at all. So that's it. Those are the top 5 items I would have in my kit no matter where I went and no matter what type of shooting I was doing. I hope this is something that helps you out in the future, saves you in a pinch, and helps you take better care of your gear overall. If you have your own ideas about the most indispensable equipment you'd want to make sure you have, include that below. I look forward to hearing that, and otherwise, I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.